everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of TokeMoments. Today, I have with me someone that I couldn't stand before. I think the feeling was mutual. Because I think he was a silent fan, but he always spends half the time dragging me, and I don't know why. But how did we not become friends?
First of all, I hate you.
I hate you too. I hate you too, okay? And I don't know why, but I feel like in another life, we'll be such good friends.
No, truly. But seriously, guy, I feel like, how did you know I didn't like you? Like,
Because you had this show where I was always bashed every other week,
no,
and I didn't understand what it
no.
was, and I'm like, what's wrong with these people? Why are they always talking about me?
I knew this was a setup. Like, I knew you invited me to set me up. Like,
and that's what I always do. Like, because we're now okay,
yeah,
right? And then I've always loved your energy, and I've always said, I don't know if Timis has ever told that in another life, and Akah, I think will be. I know you're friends with Bolanle as well, so you're friends with people that I love.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
we
in
have
another life,
mutual
me
friends.
and this guy will be like good friends. But then it's just something about him that just annoys me so much.
I love it.
But
seriously, now I got like real love for you. Seriously,
now.
before. No. Okay, let me not even lie. Before, it wasn't like I didn't like you, I hated you or anything. It was just,
You had a job to do.
Not really. So on the show. So don't take it on account of the show. The show. I mean, people know Shade Corner.
Y'all always threw shade at me.
I threw shade at a lot of people, and they knew it came from a good place. I'm
Well,
not
I
bitter
didn't
at
know you
anyone.
enough to know it came from a good place. I just thought, and I like him. I'm actually a
No,
fan of
I
him.
never
And then he
knew.
would just sit there and just throw shade at me, and I'm just like, oh my god. But today,
But at the time,
it's
I was young. I was also a judgmental person. I didn't know what real love was. I had become born again, so in my mind, I was like, So I was just like,
religion.
it was religion.
You were one of
I
those
was
people that were
religious.
law.
Yeah,
You were the law Christian.
I was the law
and
Christian.
not the grace.
So that was what it
The funny thing is,
was.
I feel like a lot of us, like I was just saying this morning to someone, that I feel like religion did a number on a lot of people.
It
A
did.
lot of people will say their moral compass. Their moral compass is based on religion and not their morals because they don't have any.
Definitely.
Because we came from religious homes.
Yeah.
We came from religious backgrounds. We all came from where
We come from a religious system. We have a religious system, and people don't know that. I mean, the more I began to know God, I now got to see how God hated religion. Like, God doesn't like religion. Jesus fought against religion. And so I'm like, what's all this? I didn't even know like how much religion had seeped into me or
Me
more.
too,
It
actually.
was a lot to like detox, and God began to teach me about love and how to, live, and how to just not be judgmental. And it was a lot. I mean, I used to judge you, not that I hated you. I used to judge you. But I think that, the more I go, I was just like, nah, like love everywhere. And I was wrong. Like, it was not even, oh, you didn't do anything wrong to me.
Oh, but that's so, it's so mature and Akah, you've grown. You can actually admit that. Oh my God. Wow. Cheers to you, mate. But then I feel like we all have this, we all grow. Do you know what I mean? And I wasn't a judge. I've never been a judgmental person because I just learned very early on in life that those things we think we're better than are those things that life will use to test us.
Yeah.
So I would never really have opinions about people because I just used to think, I
was the king of making opinion.
It happens.
Hey, so I made my opinions on
actually.
you. Hey, but it was never hate. Then when you now notice that this boy always had opinions on me without knowing me, then you give me the vibe. They are now like, oh.
Oh my God. But it's so refreshing that we can sit back here and laugh about a lot of things and just be like, we grow every day. And
Definitely.
it's a learning process for everyone. I think that was one of the biggest things I just said to you, that I learned early in life that I couldn't judge people because life would test you with those things. I used to be one of those girls that would sit down and say things like, when people come around and say, oh, say for instance, they talk about Genevieve, for instance. Now back then, people would be like, oh my God, Genevieve has built this estate. She's a man. I beg. I used to be one of those people that did not think till I got into the business and I realized how hard she probably works and how hard I started working. And I realized that, you can live that life. So what I mean by life will test you with those things you're better than. I have friends who I had this friend who used to judge girls that dated married men. That was her thing. She used to be like, "Ah, you must be morally bankrupt to even date a man that is he took vows with somebody.
Yeah.
What kind of person are you?"
Until she
And I
answer.
remember we used to argue, and I was just be like, I used to make excuses that we don't know their story. Maybe the person is struggling to feed in their family. I beg you. Even if they're struggling to feed their family, go and work 3 jobs. Must you sell your body? It's a sin, it's this, is that. Until this said person met this guy, had said dating this guy for like 2 years. The guy lied that he was married. I think the family lived abroad. And then on the second year, when she had fallen in love,
Oh, the guy lied that he was not married.
he was not married.
Yes.
He was a single girl, and everybody in the family knew that this guy was single or whatever. And then 2 years down the line, she found out that the family actually lived
But she
abroad.
could not
But
break
she couldn't
off.
break up because she's not in love.
Hey.
They now started the
Hey.
relationship. And I remember I used to ask her
Hey.
temperature that, how are you today? She know those girls used to abuse are better than you. Because you falling for the oldest trick in the book. You are in love with a married man with nothing to show for it. You see those girls, at least they're transactional. They can come out and say, I slept with this man and he gave me this. And then she was humbled and said, oh boy,
Yeah.
you're actually right. Life
Yeah.
will test you with those things
Definitely.
that you think you're better than.
Yeah.
But then we just thank God for grace and the
Yeah.
knowledge of him. Because just like you, I didn't believe for a long time that God loved me. I just thought, religion will teach you servant master relationship.
Yes. Do this to get this, or if I don't do this way, he will strike me, or I will be punished, or like, man. When we realize that everything is about love, God is love. God sends us to love people. God sends us to like just operate in love everywhere. Hi, man.
And I swear,
we
since you
change.
started operating in love, your skin is glowing, Akah. Like, I swear, like I can see you now. I'm like, "Eh!" And we like,
I love it.
I swear. You look better. You
Thank
sound better.
you,
Like
thank
you
you.
know. And
Thank
then
you.
I remember, what's that movie? Preacher,
The man of God.
The Man of God.
Yeah.
I was rooting for you so much. I watched that movie
Thank
and I was just
you.
like,
Thank
even
you.
if then we didn't know each other so much, but I used to post it a lot because I really liked your
Thank
performance.
you. Thank
And it
you.
was just a moment that you shined through. And I'm so
Thank you.
proud of you,
Appreciate
my
it.
friend.
Appreciate it.
I think I can call you friend now.
Yes,
Can I?
yes. We're
If you throw
friends.
shit at me tomorrow, I will drag you. The set light ring will
Oh
drag
my
you.
God.
The one that will set lights and drag you like I better pass my neighbor generator. You yourself will be like, what did I do to Toke? I'm like, this fucking wench. You see why I said that we can totally be friends?
Oh
I feel
my
like you and I
God.
can sit down and people watch and judge people all day. Because it's like, look at that one's cute.
I'm screaming.
I know when you have a fun-filled day judging people
Oh
and
my
their
God.
outfits, not like deep judgment,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah,
what's
yeah,
this
yeah.
person feeling like? And I cannot sit down beside Akah at an event. They will throw us out.
They will.
Literally, because I know what he's thinking when he's thinking. It's just when he looks at, I'm just like, oh my God, somebody get this guy away from me. But you guys, I noticed that you just celebrated yet one more year in this happily bliss marriage of yours. It's incredible.
Yes, it's incredible. I'm excited.
And you guys were so young when you got together.
We were. She was.
You a cradle snatcher, huh?
Ah,
The way you said she was.
she
I'm
was.
like,
I mean, I was a bit mature.
you think?
I mean, I married when I was 31.
Okay.
So I had a bit of, 30,
Of course,
31.
experience and stuff. Yeah.
So she was young.
Yeah.
I'm 6 years older.
She's so stunning, by the way.
Thank you. She
And I love that you
is.
guys make these cute videos together. The
Yeah.
pressure of like being a couple on social media these days, does it get to you guys sometimes?
I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like that's why we just like to do things on our own time and speed. Like we put out video content when we need to like chill. If we're like going through like a rough patch in marriage and we need to work through something, we don't work. Like we don't put out videos. We don't want to, put like should I say like
A fake narrative.
yeah, fake narrative and put that before us. Like we have to work through it, work it out, and then get into a rhythm again. And then okay, let's put out content. Let's show people how we overcame this or how we overcame that, or So basically, our marriage is basically just sharing our victories, our failures, or like challenges, our the little like challenges like with people. Basically, that's what it is. Like we're not even there to oppress people. So I think there was a time we used to put out content that almost like every time we would just see
I used to feel
comments.
oppressed. I'm
we
one of
used
those that
to.
would just roll my eyes
No,
and be
no,
like, ah,
anyway.
these people, this is their love, they've come again. I think you were making her hair in one or something. I was just like,
We would see comments and they would just be like, God, when? God, when? Huh?
am I a
God.
what
Till
gecko?
one day I saw somebody actually say, this thing's making me sad. I was like, no, we need to change the kind of content. We are not here to oppress people's necks or show people that marriage is the ultimate, or, we want to show love and we want to let people know that you can grow in love. So we had to tweak the kind of content we put out, basically. And since then, yeah, it's been more like a ministry.
I want to ask you, when you look at the generation that we're existing in right now, what you guys have is gold. Like, I
Yeah,
know that you say it's not perfect and nothing is perfect,
nothing is.
right? So I'm not out here saying, oh my God, they walk the streets of gold every morning. I'm sure, as you said, when you guys have moments, and you share that, which is very beautiful to see. How do you manage that? Because we live in a generation where, geez, ay, 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 I don't
Hmm.
know. Like, to be
Omo.
married and to be this public comes with a lot of pressure. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
But you guys seem to just exist. How do you make that happen? Because I won't lie to you. I've watched videos of you and your wife, and I've thought, God, this is what I would like to have. Do
Wow.
you know what I mean? I would like to have a man that I don't have to hide. Not
Oh.
because he's somebody else's husband. People, please. But because so many guys, I don't like social
Yeah.
media because
Yeah.
they know the dirty things they're up to
Yeah, yeah,
behind
yeah, yeah,
closed
yeah, yeah,
doors.
yeah, yeah.
Those people that be like, don't post me.
Mm-hmm,
Oh,
mm-hmm,
I don't, I'm the pressure. You
mm-hmm.
have 6.7 million people following you. Oh my God. I don't want them judging me. And it's a lie just because you're trying to protect somebody else's
Right,
feelings.
right,
So I
right.
would like to be in a relationship where we can do cute little videos like that.
To be honest, like I used to have like, because I mean our family, they were just like, you people should be careful, oh.
Evil eye.
But it came from fear. A lot of it
Mm.
comes from fear. Number two, one thing I've realized is that actually Lagos Nigerians, both girls and boys, they respect marriage.
Yeah.
That is the truth. If they say you guys are serious, they will be rooting for you guys. People love love. And
I
that is
think
the
they do.
truth.
Yeah.
When women start to say,
Now because they know say
they
something not
know, say
clear.
something they side.
Really?
When they see test traps from the man, they will
Mm.
know that let's go and
Mm.
test it.
Mm.
I'm not going to lie, I was tested in the beginning period. But when people, to be honest, nobody gets into my DMs now. Like it's been years. Like
Mm.
people just know that he's real. This guy
Mm.
is for his wife. Like now, have I had like those physical like
People.
okay, now say one girl is now giving me strong green light or she chases me, or sometimes it just starts out from we're talking and didn't know that the guy had a plan. And
Mm.
then later I will now say, hey, we have entered.
So,
Like I've had those moments, but very few. I
so how do
mean,
you get out of those situations?
man, that there was one that recently happened. Like I said, it hadn't happened for years, so I just felt like I'm above it now. Also felt I got to a place where I was Superman.
Mm. You see what I mean by
So I
God testing you with those
yeah, yeah,
things you
yeah,
think
yeah,
you're
yeah,
better
yeah,
than?
yeah, yeah. So I didn't see it coming,
Mm.
and I just felt like this is someone like we're just vibing. She was my spec 100, and
Chai.
so that was why when we met. And she gave me a number, name. We're like, oh yeah, let's meet up. Let's go. I didn't for like a year. I
Mm.
forgot her name because I knew that Akah, don't test yourself.
Mm.
I traveled. Thankfully, if I was chatting up with her, we would have met up in Europe because she
Wow.
was in Europe the exact time I was in Europe. But she was in rich Europe. Me, I was in France. She was in Monaco.
Hey.
she she's
Ooh.
that
Them
yeah.
ones.
She was
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. Mm.
But so came and every time we met up at events, she was like, you didn't mess it up. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I didn't couldn't tell I forgot her name.
Yeah.
Until one day I now heard a friend call her name. I was
Mm.
like, ah. So one day we met at another event. I was hosting. It was mad. Our
Chemistry.
chemistry was just more. That was how we now say, oh, I'm working on something. You can come over. So she came on set a couple of times, and that was how I just realized that when this. So it's been a long time. Me, I'm a very hands like I'm free. You hug me, laugh. Just this was the first time in years someone touched me. My hair stood up.
Ha.
I said, "Yeah." I
I'm in
first realized that
trouble.
ah, what just happened now? Then she hugged my hair. A normal or not a
Yeah,
normal
just a
friend would
normal
do.
hug. Yeah, yeah.
I say, yay!
I need to get out of here.
The electricity was passing. I had not had this in years. So you have to understand that no, in fact, I've gone through all sorts of I'm not no, I'm a man that stick by his wife and stand by her.
I'll never
Nothing.
cheat.
They already know I will never cheat. Like no, first of all, let me even not lie to you. My first year in marriage was the toughest year.
It's always the
Yeah,
toughest year. It's the first couple of years.
Yo. No, the first year, like peas where I do set before. Now my first year, there was people come one. See, so many. It was rough. It was rough. Starting from a week before I actually said I do. I was doubting my marriage. I was like,
maybe I shouldn't do this.
Maybe make I just finish this one before I now finally, because I didn't want to cheat in marriage. So I was like, let me finish, then now marry. So in marriage, like, and when challenges came, I was just like, oh man, let's go. Yeah. But thank God for just mercy.
Yeah.
Like, I always used to judge some of my friends that would even like marry and then date somebody in the first year or cheat. Hey,
like,
until I see,
yeah.
he no easy. So I overcame all of that. Then not giving anybody light on social media. Then people now realizing that no, these guys you have overcome. Then this one came. I didn't see it coming. And then I realized that night, if no be say I was with people, I may have I literally was praying in my heart. I said, Holy Spirit, help me. Holy Spirit, help me. That was what I was saying, but I was holding that. But I knew that no, I'm gone. No. I was like, it's going to happen this night.
I admire the most. I admire the transparency, and I wish so much that we found this even in churches.
Yeah.
I wish our pastors were this.
I'm even going to. That's where I'm going. Talks. That's where I'm entering. I literally was like, Holy Spirit, what do I do? And he said, call your pastor. It was a literally silent, tiny voice. I could have missed it. I was like, okay, swear to God. I was like, if I leave this place, I will not call. I literally just sent a text, Pastor, we need to talk. And I left it. And then we, talked more. And then she got into her car and left. For follow and go house. But thank God I was waiting. Like literally, my pastor saw the call and started calling. So I literally went to her. I was like, I actually wasn't staying at home because I was on set. So I was staying, So I was like, Pastor, how far? He was like, Akah, what is it? I was like, sir, I'm about to fall into the laps of Delilah.
Hey!
And the two of us laughed our socks off. And of course, yeah, he talked to me. And then, that was where I literally had victory over that. And then he was just like, look, send her a text, tell her there has to be boundaries. She's not wrong for liking you, but you're wrong for wanting to give her access. She can't have you. She's a single lady. She has rights to her feelings. She's not wrong to feel, but you are wrong to give. So she was like, put boundaries, like tell her. And the minute I told her, she was just like, you know what? We can't be friends anymore. Wait. Second stage was like, talk to your wife about it. I was like, sir? Anyway. Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, yeah. I was like, anyway, sir. He was like, yeah, you will tell her because Akah, you have to overcome this with your wife.
Yeah.
Unless you get into a cycle of overcoming alone and then you get into a Superman syndrome and next thing you're going through life alone, your partners. And involve her. So the two of you are in this together and you grow in love, in trust. You will also grow in hard times together. It's okay.
I mean, yeah. I'm not even at that point. I don't even envy you. How do you start the conversation?
My dear, I did. I actually called her. He actually told me how to say it. So I just my voice is already
even me, I'm like, I'm curious. I want to know how you
I
said it.
was just like, baby. So I went through like a small period where I liked someone else, and
Oh my
but
God.
I've dealt with it.
Yeah.
And to show you that I'm accountable, I was accountable. I called pastors myself. I reported myself. We've prayed. I've also put boundaries. In fact, the friendship is over. You don't know who the person is. She was like, I know who she knew.
She knew. We women, we always know.
Not like she knew who the person was.
Yeah,
She was
but
like, have I met the person before? I was like, yeah. She was like, I know. Hey, I said, Jesus, see. I said,
think
how?
we always have a sixth sense. There was one time, there was this guy that just, obviously, yeah, broke up or whatever. And there was a girl he was dating, and Bolani will remember the story. And she came as a guest on Moments with Mo
Mhm.
when we're still on Moments. And there was just something about our exchange. When she left, I said to Bolani, he's either fucking her, about to start fucking her, or they just finished seeing each other. Because we always know. There's something about you as a woman that just I can't
The
explain it.
sixth
It's sixth sense.
sense.
You always know. You just always
Damn.
know. When I see a girl that my man is about to talk to, or is talking to, or just finished talking to, they give themselves away. There's something. And also maybe because I know him. So maybe for your wife, she knows you. She knows
Yeah.
what you like.
Mm.
So at the point when she's like, is it this?
But I
Yeah.
think also at some events, because my wife doesn't go out. Like I hardly even go out. I'm a hermit. Like, but I go out sometimes for work, or I have to, or I respect the person who's invited me. But I like to stay indoors. My wife too doesn't. But at very few events that I had invited her to, that lady was there. That lady walked up to her and gave her a vibe
We always know her.
behind my back.
We always know. There's
So
always
she was like,
something.
"Is it that babe?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Ha ha! I knew that bitch wanted my man." She was like,
She went on Beyonce and
she
what's
was
that
like,
Jolene new
"I
song
am."
Beyonce sang?
I was like, "Baby, please, it's not her. It's about like us. Like, let's refocus. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know." And she was like, "Yeah, yeah." And we went through it together. It was painful for her. She was a bit like, but I was like, "Look, thank God. Like, I didn't go far. We didn't go into too much. It's just I realized I had feelings, and but it's over."
Yeah.
And I think she got to that place where she was mature enough to also be like, "You know what? You have feelings, and that's fine."
Do you ever think that people can start off as friends with benefits and then end up getting married?
It has
Some
happened
people,
plenty
yeah,
time
some people
now.
start that way where it's like we're just fucking each other, and one day it's just
And
like
then one day, like, I really like you, I really love
I
you.
always feel the dangerous part about that. This is what scares me from situationships is one party always falls. And the only person who is the most secure is the person who has not fallen. In situationship, because if it's a relationship, if you fall for each other, you're meant to fall for each other. It's welcome because I like you, you like me, and we're great, right? But the fact that we're in a situationship, there's a reason why we cannot be
Yes,
together.
yes, yes, yes,
Do you
yes,
understand?
yes.
And
But people
whoever
marry for the wrong reasons every time.
hey, my brother, is it not better for them not to even end
No,
up
it's better,
entering the
it's better,
marriage
it's
than for
better,
them to go
it's
through a
better, it's
divorce?
better.
But maybe for instance, now you guy has a babe, or maybe she has a boyfriend, and then there's this other guy, and then they start seeing each other. One party always ends up falling in love and ruins the whole thing.
Yeah.
And the person who cares the least is always the winner.
She won.
Because the person who
This
had
my
the
own
situation,
situation. Now me we spoil it. Why God? God. I was gone.
but
I
what makes you fall for someone you know you can't have?
was it that I felt like I couldn't have her, or the fact that I was just smitten by her? Everything about her, like it smote me.
Mm.
You know,
Thunder doesn't strike in the same place twice. You're like, oh, child, the day God made you, he was having a good
oh
day.
my
Do
God. She was my also like spec. She was just the right amount of
men have
sass.
spec?
She had sass. I love girls that are sassy. She had like like features that. Hey, let me not talk about this
I mean, you're a
because
married
I've
man.
started. I mean, it's disrespectful the way I'm going
Oh,
now.
not
The
really.
way I'm now remembering. Oh,
No, no, no,
I
no, no,
was
not
smell.
really. Not really. I also feel like
What?
no, listen,
What?
no, not really.
Token,
Let me
don't
tell
be
you what I
there.
mean. Wait, let me tell you what I mean. No, really. I also feel like this is the human part that makes people appreciate the fact that we're all human. I would rather be married to a man who
Because my wife
wait,
is married to alien.
no, wait
Of course,
now.
I'm human.
Hey, but that's what I'm saying to you that I would rather appreciate a man that when fire is on the mountain can call me and say, baby, I just saw this babe right
Yeah, yeah,
now.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Do you understand? Even me, I'll be like, oh boy, where are you? Do you get? I can save you than the ones that act like, oh no, you are the only sugar in my tea. I can't even say another babe. Why do I? You are the only. Those are the ones. Raw. They are lying. One dindo don't need now. As my mom would say, we're frying dodo for each other. You fry your own, I fry my own. Which one bone? I love you. Me too, I love you. I miss you. Me too, I miss you. We're both frying dodo for ourselves.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I would rather that. I would want to, and that's what I think you and your wife have, a friendship.
Yeah.
Where you guys can talk about every single thing.
Yeah.
You know, because let's be real. Even if I got married to, say, who is the most good looking guy on earth right now that women always think, not you, Ayolawa. No, that women always think is like, who is this Candy? Who can we say? Like, I don't really think he's that good looking, but no.
I don't think the men are men like
Maybe
fine
like
men.
George Clooney. He's married now, but if he was still single and like George Clooney, I got with George Clooney or whatever. I'm not going to deceive myself enough to believe that people don't see what I see.
Mm.
Come on. He wakes up right beside me and it's perfect.
All that one is makeup.
But even in the journey of marriage,
Yeah.
you still see
Definitely
that
you
you
see
know what
there are even men that are even ugly and they are still chasing them.
do you get,
Hey.
and vice versa for men as well. Like
Yeah.
a man will be delusional to think he's going to get with a girl like me and think he's the only man that
Yeah,
wants to
yeah,
be in
yeah,
his
yeah, yeah,
position.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
what helps is if we're friends enough to know that there are boundaries. So
Yeah.
my man can flirt, he can be like, hey,
Me,
fine girl.
I can't even flirt because I don't want to even give room to the
I like how you're working on your marriage.
this my
It's your
flesh.
biggest project.
This my flesh. Also because of can we just try arming? This my
Mm,
flesh. Ah, if I don't, if they don't chase me or I don't fall into mistake by them chasing me and getting me, I would be the one to get them. Or I will actually also misuse power.
mm.
Because
I
there are
see
girls
things.
that I've literally said hi to someone. She's a fan. I said hi to her. I felt her body vibrate like she was
Mm,
shaking.
mm.
Even me, I was like, will you calm down? No, you might have blood. Come off it.
I guys are fucking lunatic, you guys.
I was like, my friend, calm down. Excuse me. I was even put off. I was like, why are you shaking because of it? I'm a human being like you,
Mm,
you know. But I felt her like she was shaking. I was like, hey.
mm,
So I will get, we see this flesh. The more if we give her one allow, it go look for allowance.
mm.
So the more I give,
That's
I
why
will just realize
the
that I
biggest
will
thing I say
just
now, and I learned in the month of April going into May, I shared that on my Instagram page. My biggest quote or motto right now is we are constantly being transformed by the renewal of our minds.
right.
And I've always heard that scripture. I think I even shared it when I was like, I always used to hear it, but I never really understood what it meant
Mm,
till I had just been through some, crazy situation. Like this year has just been one of those crazy years. I've had wins, but I've also had really low blows,
mm, mm,
and in one of those moments, I think I was away for like a whole month in England. And I think I took myself out I just wanted to be by myself and connect with God again because I realized that there's so much noise here. Sometimes you don't really hear what the Savior is saying. And just that scripture kept coming to my mind and it just applied to every single thing. I feel like when we feel like we are enough by ourselves is
yeah.
when we get into those sort of
Yeah,
situations.
yeah.
And
And
there's
also
nobody that cannot fall.
nobody.
There's
That's why I
nobody.
guard myself. I had to me. Hey God, who used to listen to Chris Brown more than me? I now realize that the more I listen to Chris Brown, the more I'm looking for girl to practice what I had to cut off that. Because me, I grew up in a house where R&B. Hey, they use R&B, and R&B is just sex.
Yeah.
Is woman, I want to practice. Let your rain fall on me. I'm not looking for rain. I realized that almost if I really want to have this like life that I'm saying,
Kingdom marriage, as
kingdom,
you
see,
call it.
look, I had to cut it off. And so when you say constantly renewed by the renew, like
Transformed by the
transformed by
renewal.
renewing of the mind, it's what are the gates to my mind? What I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, who I'm talking with, what I'm like literally interacting with. So there's some films I don't watch.
Hmm.
There are some music I don't listen to. There are some artists it was painful. I had to X them because problems.
I like that. I know. I like that you're deliberate about
Yeah.
that because I feel sometimes when someone says that to me, I look at the person and just think that, I beg, it's not that deep. Do you understand?
Mm,
But then you know your path and you know
yeah.
how you want to walk this path
Yeah.
and you know what it means to you
Mm-hmm.
to have this marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's great for this time because a lot of people need more examples like this where people are getting into marriages and everything you see on social media today is this person packed out, that person abusing themselves, this person, and it's so hurtful
It's
that two people
hurtful.
who once said I love you
Yeah.
can degenerate to that
Yeah.
point.
It's very easy because it's not as if they didn't love each other. Hey, they loved each other, but just things, life, and just not following, the rules, making mistakes and not
Mm.
forgiving. Because in this
Hmm.
marriage is about forgiving and forgiving. Even in good one. Wait, one way still we go forgive tire.
Are you
Because again, I
serious?
always say marriage is the first testing ground for Christian love that God gives you to practice love. This we're called to love and serve. everything we are doing is called to serve. We're called to serve our, as parents, we're called to serve our children. Children are called to serve their parents, their schools, their leaders, their nations,
Our
citizens,
careers.
our community, our church. We're called to a life of service. So God gives you a partner to say, test it on this one first. You can't say you love the world or you can serve the world if you can't serve or love this person first. So if what marriage is meant to be two people out serving each other. You're in a competition to outserve and outlove each other. Imagine if that was what it was. That was God's intention for marriage. What? You go marry, you will not want to step out of your home.
Let me ask you this: like love, which one do you think is greater?
How can you say God is love? Of course, love is greater.
I don't think so. Actually.
Love is greater.
I think like is actually greater than love.
I mean, you start out liking someone.
No,
but you
let
have
me
to
tell you
get
what I
into
mean by
love.
that. I feel like what sustains you on the
You have
days
to
where you
like this
cannot
person.
love that person is because you like the person.
Well.
So, like your siblings, for instance, right?
Well.
You know how you're supposed to love them because you guys blood is flowing from your whatever, right? I'm supposed to love my parents because they brought me to this world.
Yeah.
That standard you're supposed to. But if you realize there are things that will happen in life that will make someone say, I hate my father. And you don't know that person's pain unless you walked in their shoes. There are people who had their fathers walk away from them. There are people who've had their fathers molest them. There are people who had their mothers who were not ready to be mothers and who abandoned them for their grandmothers or a relative to raise them. In older age, they come back into your life. You can't tell me that it's love that is making you treat that person nicely. Do you understand? You must like them to a certain degree, cultivate some sort of likeness in them, the relationship you're building to say, okay. Because if you don't like that person, it's difficult to love them. But I love people that I don't necessarily like because family are meant to love you, right? Doesn't mean that I like you as a family member. I just love you because God said you came, we are in the same. So I can just extend that. That's what I meant by.
I hear you and I get you, but I will still say love because there are moments and for sustained periods of time that I don't like my wife. It's happened. And there are periods where she does not like me. But it's the love that keeps us. Why? Because again, we got into marriage with the understanding that it can't be based on what we feel. Liking is feelings. It's fickle. Love is commitment. Love is saying, I will love you in the dark and in the good. Like your demons, you have to love somebody's demons. See, that's why it is love. Jesus said, how are you a Christian if you only love those who love you? You must love your enemies too. Then you will know that you are different from the world. So we, like I said, is the first testing ground to test.
So difficult.
See,
let me tell you something. See,
Toke, people don't understand what Jesus is. You will die. You see the death he died on the cross. You will die. You will die to yourself. You will die every day. There are sometimes Jesus will say, "Go back home. Tell her sorry." Hey, he go be as if
you say my rights. Lord, but I have it.
My rights. Yeah. Oh my God. And see, love is you will die to self, die to flesh, die every
Recently,
day.
Someone did something that really hurt me. And because I'm practicing this, I say to people in 2019, I heard a word. People, see, they don't really know the side of me. And I like that they don't, to be fair, because I like that people think that I sit down with the devil and me and are like this. But I always laugh because I always say to people that speak Christianese that on the last day, I go shock. You will see me forever. You go say, how did this girl get here? You say, while you were out there judging me, I have a relationship with God that is beyond religion.
Yeah.
And I remember 2019, the only word God told me was come into my rest. And I didn't know what that meant. I remember entering the year 2019. That was the message for me. Come into my rest. Let me just say to you that I now understand what's a semblance of what the children of Israelites went through. Because if you don't listen to God, you will keep repeating that class over and over. And a journey of 7 days or 7 what cost about many years. So that come into my rest that I refuse to agree because I thought that, when God establishes you sometimes, a part of you gets too big for your shoes. You start to feel like, if I have a problem now, there are like 3-4 people I can call. And I'm going to be all right. You know what I mean? If I just call this person, I'm sure I'll be okay. I remember walking into Silverbird, just walking out, and I heard the voice of the Holy Spirit say to me, you're a big girl now. You don't need me. You think you've arrived. I still didn't understand that coming to my rest meant total abandon. Like you have to be Christ-like.
On God.
You have to just rely on me and just let me lead. So somebody hurt me recently, and that hurt. I knew I was on my rights. I was saying to the Lord, let this friendship end because fuck that shit. I'm tired of healing from things people don't fucking apologize for. Holy Spirit, you go just have to sit back on this one and let me do my
Your
mind.
energy, I love it.
Boy, I was about to pray to read Bible. The Bible told me you have to go and settle
Yes.
that score before you
Yes.
come back here. And I said,
Yes.
why do I have to call this motherfucker?
Mhm.
Like, just why do I have to now call? And he just would. I know when God is telling, he just wouldn't let you be. And when I called and I made peace with it and I came back, he says, as you said, Christ-like, where you are honestly as a child raising her hands up and saying, carry me. That's where I need you to be.
Yeah.
And it's the hardest thing to do.
Yes.
Because like the devil now waits to set traps for you.
Hey.
I am like,
Hey.
I'm just trying to be a good Christian. Why are you
Hey.
trying to frustrate me? Yeah. Under this wig is
She said,
crazy. Yeah.
frustrate me.
I'm not
Yeah.
normal. Don't bring that side of me. I'm trying to change. I don't know if everybody else used to go through this, but I remember back then, like when my ex-husband would travel, like the first 3 days, I'm like a kid in the candy store. The way I entered the house and is quiet. I'm like, wait, I'll have my coffee. I will spread out on the bed. There's nobody because you know how sometimes marriages it just gives you heart attack. Just and it was a shout out to where is this thing? I'm like, oh, you eat. Oh, so I used to love when he's away. I would
You
call my
will.
friends. I would gist. I would even hear the cricket outside because the whole place is
Oh
quiet.
my
And then by the
God.
fourth
And that's
day,
not how it should
babe, guess
be.
what? By the fourth day, I start to miss the person. I'm like, why? When are you coming home? Do you get? I don't like sleeping at home alone. So the biggest worry for me right now is I'm now so used to my own space. It's a problem. My family members think it's a problem. I don't like people around me. If I'm in a relationship,
Day
after
your
2 weeks,
day.
I
Let me
start
day
to
my
think
day after a
anytime
while.
the guy says, must we make plans every day? Can we have some days where we just don't see each other? He will not be like, are you tired of me already? I'm like, no, it's just that I just I just want to wake up by myself. I just want to just not have to worry about would you like some water? No, I want to wake up and it's quiet. So I'm a big believer of we can have separate houses if we
Yeah.
marry.
Yeah.
I can live by myself and we can be married.
I hear you.
I
But
don't
but
think I'll have a
again,
problem with that.
that is where love tests you. You have to break yourself. You have to die to flesh. You have to love regardless. You have to give.
It
You
doesn't
have
mean I
to.
don't love them. It just means
Yeah,
that I
yeah,
love
yeah.
my space
But you
more.
see, love is not about you. It's about the other person. You have to
Yeah.
love that person the way they want to be loved, not the way you want to love them.
Then that just sounds like
The way you
slavery.
looked at me, the way you looked, you looked at me like,
that, that just sounds like it's a lot of
yes.
work.
Now love is for the other person.
Hmm.
And that's why, so sometimes now, it was literally one day I was talking with my wife, it clocked. I was like, hey, all these people that are doing, hey, God went, then on their marriage day, wedding day, they do throw the biggest parties, they dance. I'm like, it just clocked one day I was talking with my wife, like, actually, the wedding day is meant to be a sober day. If we
Hmm.
know what we are doing, if we know what we are entering into, it's meant to be a day of soberness. The families can rejoice because the family is gaining a daughter, the
Mhm.
other family is gaining a son. You can rejoice. But you see, the people that are entering it, you are meant to do it sober because you are saying, I'm giving up my independence to live my life the way I want now. I'm entering into a lifetime of service
Hmm.
and love to this person. It's a sober day of reflection that wow, I'm giving up my independence. Okay. If you know what you are doing, we're not meant to be actually gyrating on wedding day.
Wow.
People enter is because they're entering with the wrong expectations and wrong, belief system.
Damn. As I was saying, I mean, I do pray for enough grace for you guys because I feel like you have something so beautiful.
Mm.
And I've it's most times, you know what is so beautiful about this episode? Most times is women that sit here and talk so gloriously about marriage and
Mm.
wear their heart on their sleeves and talk about how happy they're about being married and talk about their partners. It's so refreshing to watch a guy literally admit that his marriage is a project he's working on,
Wow.
will continue to work on. In the world we live in, it's very rare. People all act all cool. You know what I mean? Like guys are easily to just be like, yeah, my marriage is the woman's work, right? A woman makes the home, a woman defines. But just hearing you speak is a breath of fresh air. And I do hope that on days where it's difficult to love you, she can watch this episode and see how hard you're fighting,
Yeah.
for what you guys have,
Yeah.
because those days will come.
Yeah.
There are days where it's just like, I just can't deal with this person.
Yeah.
But it's refreshing to see, and I want a lot more men to be like this, to talk about marriage in the way that you are. The good, the bad, the ugly, the high, the lows, the almost fell, the pull back together, and the
Yeah.
communication, which I think you guys have mastered at such a young, because you guys have been married for how long now?
5 years.
5 years. And this is communicating daily. That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
I'm super
Thank
proud of
you.
you.
Man, we're not doing it on our own, man, but like we just thank God that we're here, man. I
Does
can't
it
believe
help
it
that you guys
too.
are Christians?
It's everything. There's no
Yeah.
way I would have loved or been married now without the love of Christ, without God's love, without God's way. It would not have now. You would have been seeing me too on Insta blog. It has crashed. If it were not for you see me, you would have. It's not like
Oh my God. I know what makes
Toke
me laugh about those
the
ones.
first year, like December 2019, we would not foresee the same way Bella Niger carried us, they would have carried us again, recarried that. Oh,
Splitsville.
split veil
And
is
then the
here.
shade now
Oh
continues.
my God, but I just without God, and then also people don't understand that one of the most important things to do when you get in marriage, because people do, again, another thing I think people need to realize, premarital counseling is actually almost rubbish. It's good,
Mm.
but it's almost rubbish. What is more important? Okay, let me not say it's rubbish. It's not as important as postmarital counseling.
There's post-marital counseling?
You have to. You have to do it. We counsel it. We do marital counseling and also finding accountability structures. There's a married couple that I like. I think we want them to help us model our marriage through their experiences and advice and the way that we want it to be. We've seen a model. Please help us. How can you get a certificate for something you haven't spent one day in? You can't do it alone. Like, people need to understand that this is my marriage. Nothing can. Hey, no, you will share. You will talk to that older uncle or older auntie or that mentor. How did you get through this in your marriage? What how do you think I could? And the woman too. Hey, my mother-in-law is coming. How do I do it? Okay, shoot. See, it is if I didn't have anybody to say, look, because now my pastors are our accountabilities. It used to be someone we are one of our mentors, but then we outgrew that phase, and now it's with our pastors. If I didn't have my pastor as an accountability structure partner, who would I call and say, it be like say my body don't. Some of my guys will say, hey, wait, yeah, Jesus later. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
There
and
will be
they'll push you
nobody.
to do it. They'll be like,
Some
yeah,
of my
dog.
friends will go push. There will be nobody. There's nobody to. So thank God for that. So one of the secrets to a successful marriage is having accountability structures, and of course, loving Christ's way. Yeah,
That Christ way is really tough, but
it is, because that one
more
is
muscle to
dealing
your
with yourself
more
more than the
muscle
other
to your
person.
hustle. Because damn,
Yeah.
some days you want to break his head and be like, hey, God hates me for giving me this kind of man to marry. And some days you just look at the person and be like, I'm so lucky. How did I get this
Yeah,
lucky?
definitely. One of the things I've very quickly realized, there's no gender that is evil more than the other. Humanity is
I got
flawed,
there.
woman or man. Because I realized that the same thing that they were accusing that men were doing when they were in political power, women did it too. In fact, the first House Speaker, Senate, that stole amount of money was a woman of 300 and something
Oh no,
million.
but
Like,
even when it comes to the country, I always say this. I remember some
it's not
friend
a
of mine
gender
hitting
thing.
me saying, no, apart from gender, I always say there's no such thing as bad leaders, but
Yeah.
just bad people,
It's
period.
bad people.
And no matter how we're throwing stones at those that are there now, the people that their voice is the loudest are throwing the stone, put them
Put
there
them there.
and come back.
Put
Do
them
you
there.
understand? In 2 years, we've seen examples of people that were on
Definitely.
our side
Yes,
before they tasted
yes,
this
they
power.
tasted that
And once
power,
they
that
tasted the power, it's like
money.
the story changed.
Yeah,
Do you know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's almost like what we started saying on this podcast. I never judge people because life is waiting.
Yeah.
It's like an unspoken rule. It's those things you think you're better than. I can never. I can never. God forbid. God, you look down on. You will go through it.
Yeah.
So I don't say it loud because I don't want life to test me.
Mm.
So when I hear things, I'll just be like,
Mm.
That's my greatest thing to say is, because I've seen how I've seen people that have sworn. I can never, ever, ever. You find women that have sat there and judged, talking, men give her everything. She sleeps around. that are married, oh, and today, let's just say, because Maya has been like, girl, this is why I just know the judge you now. Go just the look, you say, may God show all of us mercy. Because it's a real thing. It's a real
Yes.
thing. And we're growing and we've not seen the best of life. And there's room for growth. So that's why when people come back and are like, oh, I judged you wrongly, or I used to say unkind things about you, I give them that grace because guess what? Life has a way. It's just like it's waiting to just happen. It's those things that you're so sure. Look at how you thought you were Superman. I would never like somebody else. I've made.
The day as I like if I don't even know say that's body. Hey. I was just like, what is this?
It was life waiting to
It
show
was
you
life
that.
waiting to show me.
Mhm.
I had not felt that in years.
Mm.
That girl touched me, my hair. She
And
made
not to
the
even make
hair on the next stand up, just one touch. Dun, dun, dun.
not to even make it seem like I'm trying to make men the blame, but I also feel like I'm not trying to support things blindly. And this is not me saying that I would support, like you said, gender. I don't look at sex. I don't look at we are all capable of doing whatever we can do. But I also feel like a lot of these married women we're talking about are tired. It's from a place of exhaustion.
Ooh, these young girls, tired of what? How many years have they put in?
Ah,
My dear,
must
what I
they
say
must they
is
must they suffer?
trauma. Is
Why do we
trauma
always
from
celebrate
behind. They
suffering?
enter it with energy. So they just came with. So any small thing they interpret it through those lenses. Hey, please don't talk to me.
If I
Because of
watch my father talk to my mother this way, I
so
can't.
is that. So now, boys, men.
I hate Akah so much. Before I let you go, I have to let you try my perfumes out.
Yes, congratulations on the launch of your
Thank
perfume
you. Thank you.
brand.
I actually do not have one more here, but I knew you were coming, and because you are also a perfume, we have to shoot our perfume video. Let me know when
We
you're
will.
ready. We will
We
do
will.
it.
Is there Iris in this?
No, there is a bit of amber. There's a
This
bit.
amber definitely.
Yeah,
But I was thinking that orange is, there. Like,
it's not orange. It's asparagus. No, asparagus is in this one. There's a bit of amber in there. There's a bit
no,
of
this is heavy on amber.
yeah.
But
But
that buttery,
I just
that
want spray it on your skin, friend, and tell me.
Oris is
See the
the
atomizer.
Oris is the root of iris. So
Yeah. Ooh, I can smell
so
it
it gives
from
that
here.
is that buttery with the amber, it just slapping. Because there's a little bit of that lipsticky, thing. So I know that comes from iris.
Yeah. So
I should
spray it a little bit and see the atomizer as well. See it.
customizer is good. Okay. The opening is nice, different. So
I can smell
it's
it from
first
here.
fresh,
Mm-hmm.
and then it then
The spices then.
yes, the spices then kick in.